The scenes in the House of Parliament last week exposed the underbelly of racism, both in the Conservative Party and I think in the Labour Party. Neither party gets away with this. And it may emerge as Islamophobia, it may emerge as anti-Semitism. It really doesn't matter. The problem is that both parties have got obsessed with sloganizing and are not looking at the real ideas or the real characters involved and the real issues and the hurt of real people. They're too keen on their own slogans. And it's not that surprising that a debate of such importance about the future of Israel and Palestine dissolved into an argument about the politicians themselves in Westminster and about whether or not undue influence had been imposed on the Speaker, Lindsay, Hoyle. And then we have a follow-up to this. So in the immediate hours after this, Suella Braverman went into the media to say that Islamists, she used this particular expression which she favours, which is talking about people who have set up an Islamic government or want to set up an Islamic government. In other words, revolutionaries. And I don't think that's what we're dealing with at all. And she's saying Islamists are now in charge of Britain. That's nonsense. And she should be excoriated for precisely that remark. Nigel Farage went on and he said by the 2029 election, we will have a radical Islamic party represented in Westminster. That's not actually as badly phrased as Suella Braverman. But it's worrying. And the trend is worrying. Following on from this, Lee Anderson then made his comment about the fact that it wasn't it wasn't London and it wasn't the country which was Islamist. It was the Islamists who had got control of Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London. They'd given our capital city to his mates. Sadiq Khan had given our capital city to his mates. This is an outrageous statement. First of all, using the term Islamist, and secondly, giving the impression that Sadiq Khan is in hoik to a particular group. Sadiq Khan is phenomenally secular, and the idea that he is an Islamist propagator is an absurdity. And Martin Daubney then goes on and says, right after Sadiq Khan apologised to all Londoners for taking the knee to the mob. Should Lee apologise? He asks. I mean, it's just extraordinary how GB News is controlling this debate. Nick Dixon, we must never ever apologise to Sadiq Khan under any circumstances. To do so would imply that he is a good faith actor, or that he is some impartial adjudicator one can appeal to who will put things right. Well, he's the mayor of London. He's the person who's supposed to put things right. When I fell over some street furniture and got a black eye as a result, because it was right in the middle of the road, I contacted Sadiq Khan's office again and again and again. He was useless. But my first thought was to contact Sadiq Khan. Isn't that what one should be doing? So whether Sadiq Khan did anything wrong or whether he didn't do anything wrong, he is the person to take responsibility for London. However, this debate does something far more dangerous, and it subverts the real issue. So instead of now talking about the racism in emerging across Parliament, we're now talking about one particular individual, Lee Anderson, who has lost the whip from the Conservative Party. Suella Braverman is sitting pretty. And the other bigots and repressive individuals, I hesitate to use the word racist, but I should, I suppose, get away scot-free. Get away scot-free, because the focus has been pulled onto Lee Anderson, and then maybe slightly into Rishi Sunak. It's been pulled away from Lindsay Hoyle, and from that issue. The issue surrounding Lindsay Hoyle is quite central. The issue is that Lindsay Hoyle was responding to what he saw as pressure from extremists, threats to people in Parliament. The unspoken suggestion there, I suppose, is that this is Islamist threats, because the Parliament was discussing Gaza. This is subversive racism at the very least. It's I think it's I think this is language and a subject which needs to be looked at, and needs to be looked at in a grown-up way. And all this deflecting and all this sloganizing doesn't do it any good at all. We need to make quite clear that the language we're using is not offensive. We need to make quite clear that we are not being governed by racists who are in hoik to either a mob that is pursuing one agenda or another. Our elected politicians are there to represent the whole community of their constituency and to debate issues intelligently and maturely. If they're not capable of that, then they need to stand down and be replaced by somebody who is capable.